Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the VHL Alliance's live video series. Today, I'm excited to welcome Chandra Clark, VHL Alliance's new executive director. Prior to joining VHLA, Chandra served as the director of community outreach for Big Brothers Big Sisters Kansas City, where she successfully launched the organization's first community outreach department, post-secondary education initiative, and workforce development program for youth, which gained national exposure. Her previous professional experience also includes serving in nonprofit leadership at Kaufman Scholars, Newhouse Shelter, and as president and founder of MODEL, a faith-based organization. Chandra holds a Master of Education degree from Rockhurst University, a Bachelor of Liberal Arts degree from the University of Missouri, Kansas City, and is a graduate of the Central Exchange Emerging Leaders Fellowship Program. She's received numerous awards and recognitions, including Next Gen Leaders from the Kansas City Business Journal, Young Athena Leadership Award from the Kansas City Chamber, Rockhurst Faber Young Alum of the Year from Rockhurst University, Top Connector in Education and Entrepreneurship from the Kaufman Foundation, and Most Influential Women from Kansas City Business from the Kansas City Business Journal. Chandra, on behalf of the entire VHL community, welcome and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Josh.
Thank you for being here. So let's jump right into it. Can you tell us a little bit about where you're from and what led you down the path of advocacy?
Sure. So I'll just take you on a brief little journey. I was born and raised in Lake Charles, Louisiana, so I am a Southern girl at heart. I moved to Kansas City, Missouri when I was 10 years old. So I was in the Midwest for about 32 years, and I'm excited now that I will soon be relocating to Boston. What led me down the road of advocacy was really my lived experiences. Again, growing up in the South, there was a lot that I experienced as a woman of color, and then transitioning to the Midwest, becoming in the urban core, living in the urban core, going through a lot of adverse circumstances, and ultimately really having to fight to move forward in my life. So through obstacles that I overcame, I really found a passion for education and equity and mentorship. I know how those have attributed to my success, and I feel a calling and a passion to provide that for others. And so that's ultimately what has led me here today, and I am so excited to be the newest member of the family at the VHL Alliance.
So when did you start working at the VHL Alliance, and what sparked your interest?
So I started working on September 16th, so it's so exciting that tomorrow will conclude my first 30 days at the Alliance. And I really just fell in love with the organization actually through my interview process. I really enjoyed learning more from the board members, but also the research that I've done, and then having the opportunity to talk with patients. Again, I have a huge passion for advocacy and quality of life. It's something that I know from personal experience, that I believe that everyone deserves to thrive, not merely survive. And that is what ultimately really just led me to the Alliance, because there's so much, there's phenomenal work that has been done, but there's so much work for us to do. And it's just really a privilege to be a part of the organization.
I know you've only been with the organization for 30 days now, but what has been your most memorable experience so far?
I think my most memorable experience so far, I have to say, well, there's actually been so many, but when I had the opportunity to sit with you when we did the kickoff call with St. Jude's, that was a really exciting call for me to be a part of, and that partnership with St. Jude's is something that really is monumental for us. And I just had the opportunity to see firsthand the impact that we have through our clinical care centers, through developing those partnerships, and how we really are striving to make sure that our patients and families have everything that they need.
In general, what has been your proudest accomplishment?
My proudest accomplishment is being a mom. I have a 19-year-old daughter. Her name is Jada, and I love to share about her being just my pride and joy. Probably most also is because as I was a single mom for 12 years, and I really had to really work hard in my career to make sure not only that I was a role model for her, but to also make sure that I provided her with the resources that she needed, so that she didn't feel any sense of lack in her life. And so that is the proudest accomplishment, is to know that you have been responsible for another human being. And that gives me a lot of joy. And as anyone can imagine, 19 is a very interesting age. It's a lot of fun, but I love being a mom.
Do you have any regrets?
I am a huge proponent of people. I have a huge heart for humanity, and just this idea of everyone knowing that they have their fit and that they have a place in the world and society. And I am a huge advocate for self-esteem and people just ultimately feeling good about themselves. And if I had a regret, it would be how hard I was on myself, maybe throughout my career journey. You know, allowing negative thoughts or negative self-perceptions to affect how I saw myself and maybe my abilities. If you can imagine, even in assuming a new role, like I have with the Alliance, and going, taking a risk and moving into a new area and becoming a part of a new mission, I really had to also work through my own personal views of how I saw myself and build my confidence up. And I think people will always be working on for the rest of their life. But I think it's necessary that we are kind to ourselves and that we are confident in all that we do, because we have a huge opportunity not only to see ourselves in a positive light, but to encourage others to do so.
What's been the biggest challenge you faced?
I think the biggest challenge that I face has been confidence. I think for a long time, especially now when you think of all that is going on in society and the current climate, and just people needing to feel safe and secure. I think a lot of times we look at external factors, and yes, they are true, but sometimes it's the internal fight that we have. And so my biggest obstacle has been, how do I see myself, especially when relating to my childhood experiences and lived experiences. And you can go through different traumas and things in life that can affect your view of the world and ultimately yourself. And so that has been my biggest obstacle.
Speaking of the world and current circumstances, what's been your most memorable experience since the pandemic has begun?
My most memorable experience, I really, since the pandemic has started, actually has been my onboarding and transition to the Alliance. I would have to say, if I speak from a personal experience of working through my own values as I, looked to the next phase of my career. What do I value? What do I want my legacy and impact to be in the world? What organization do I really want to be a part of that I can pour my heart and soul into? And as you can imagine, during the pandemic, we spent a lot of time at home, well, we should be, with ourselves. So that really caused me to have to engage in a lot of self-reflection. And I think that that has been most memorable. And I have to say that, being at this place where I'm now a part of the family and this wonderful organization, the work has definitely been worth it. But self-reflection and time alone is not always easy, but if we do the work, it is worth it.
What other passions or hobbies do you have outside of the office?
So I am a creative at heart. So one, I love fashion. I love colors. I love to go to the store and put together outfits and pieces. I have been a model for about 14 years. So that has been a huge hobby of mine on the side. I've also done some acting. I have to tell you, Josh, I'm not the best actress, but I've had some cool acting jobs, but I also like to paint. Before the pandemic, one of my favorite pastimes was going to like a paint and sip. I love to paint. The funny thing is that I never painted the picture accurately, but it was just fun just to take the brush and kind of go with it. So I love anything that's creative. I love to read. I also love to write. And one of my side passions is blogging and everything that relates to self-esteem and personal development.
What's a fun fact about you that most people don't know?
So a fun fact about me is that I've done a couple of cool commercials. So one, I did a Missouri Lottery commercial, and it literally took us I think about 22 hours, I would say, to film the commercial. It was maybe 10 seconds, but that was something that was really cool and fun to be a part of behind the scenes. And then I had another opportunity. There are a couple of recording artists in Kansas City that are pretty big celebrities, and I got to play an acting part in one of their music videos as a mom with 2 children. So that was pretty cool, and those are projects I think I'll always remember.
What will be your main focus over the next year?
So great question. My main focus over the next year, one will be we have a lot that we have to do to take the organization forward. So as the leader of the organization, I have a huge responsibility to build upon the phenomenal work that has already been done. Everything that we do at the Alliance really goes back to our patients. So we have to make sure that we have the resources and the support available so that our patients can really thrive and have the highest quality of life. And so for next year, number one, it has to come through, I would say a simple way to explain this is elevation and expansion. So elevating our fundraising and our marketing efforts so that we ultimately can expand our presence in the community, expand our collaborative partnerships, and ultimately build up the resources for our patients and our families. So heavy focus on marketing efforts, heavy focus on fundraising and having the financial resources, because as we know, every nonprofit sustainability is really related to their ability to have the proper financial resources. And then that education and awareness, there is a huge need around healthcare disparities, health equity, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so that will also be a large part of my focus for 2021. And also, number one, leveraging the talent of the staff, the brilliance of the staff, and making sure that the staff has everything that they need to feel supported, because this is a team effort. And my vision is that we will thrive together. We have some of the best board members and supporters. I actually have never seen anything like it. So I'm looking forward to how we will do this together as a team in 2021.
Now, zooming out a little bit, what about over the next 5 years? Do you have any other like larger goals for the organization?
Yeah, so I would say larger goals for the organization would be to have additional staff. Again, we've done phenomenal work, but in order for us to continue to do so, we will need to have additional staff members. So that also goes back to our fundraising. So just continuing to elevate our goals and how much we want to raise. And then, you know, when it comes to the education aspect and the patient advocacy aspect, that is something that will always be evolving, but that is at the forefront of everything that we do. So making sure that we are aware of trends, critical issues that our patients are facing, and making sure that we're on the front line, that they have all of the support that they need.
Your predecessor, Eileen Sussman, made a lasting impact on the VHL community, especially when it comes to advances in VHL research. How will you continue and build on her legacy, as well as build your own legacy?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Josh. So Eileen has definitely made a remarkable impact in the work that she's done in research. And I want to take a moment to highlight the fact that we want to make sure that we're honoring Eileen during this time of transition. I recently said to someone that I will never be able to fill Eileen's shoes, and I'm not supposed to. She will leave her own footprint, and she already has. However, I will carry the organization forward. So thankfully, Eileen will still be supporting and being a part of the organization in the aspect of being the Chief Scientific Officer with the work that she has done around research. So we'll continue to have her guidance and expertise in that area. And we will just continue to expand our partnerships and expand our research and go forth. And I look forward to being able to engage in creativity and innovation again with our marketing and fundraising efforts, and building upon this very firm, solid foundation that has already been built.
Chandra, once again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today, and welcome to this incredible community. We are all so excited to be working with you and can't wait to see what heights the VHL Alliance will reach under your leadership.
Thank you, Josh.
For everybody watching at home, you'll be able to meet Chandra at this year's virtual VHL Family Weekend, hosted by Huntsman Cancer Institute at Salt Lake City, Utah, on October 23rd to 25th. It's going to be online, and you can find more information about the weekend, including registration at vhl.org/familyweekend. Early bird registration ends on October 19th, so make sure you register soon. I especially want to invite everybody to join us on Friday night, October 23rd, to start the family weekend off with a fun social event where everybody can talk to Chandra and learn more about her and the Alliance. We hope you will join us for the annual family weekend, as well as other future events. Until next time, stay safe. Chandra, thanks again.
Thank you.